action. You know, many of us, and I went in Bodie's room and grabbed this little action figure. And, you know, I think we're all familiar with action men, action figures. I mean, there's all kinds of them. You know, they're around. These guys we all played with action figures, the little green men. You know, they move the arms, and they're everywhere. G.I. Joes and those action figures, those superhero type of figurines. And young boys play with them. But they represent something that's very unique to all of us. And I think that's appealing to young men and young boys is you know, they don't move. Some of them, the joints move. But this one here is rigid. But why? Why does it sit there on my son's bookcase and just there? It represents action. It represents planning. It represents skill. It represents adventure. It represents building. You know, there's all kinds of, not just warfare type of figurines, but there's all different things that represent things. And I think men begin to tie in with action. Action. And in that action with these things, and generally there's usually good action figures, and then there's young guys and there's stuff out there that's evil action figures, bad guys. But generally, when you play with them as boys and stuff, the good guys usually always win. And there is a moral, there is a value, there's something that's constructive there in the action that goes on. As I look at that action, men of action, it is very apparent to us that anything's going to happen, there's got to be action. If there's anything that's going to take place, there has to be action. And action represents work. Okay? Action is work. You know, just the motion of just walking, there's energy that's put out. We just fueled our bodies so that we can go through service and put some energy and action in service. Go through life in those things. In the action that we do in our everyday life is very important. I know Brother King here, he is retired. He's put all of his action in, all of his years and everything. He's enjoying his fruits of his labor. And many of us are still working towards that point. Or Brother Leonard's thinking about it. Brother Walt's almost is retired. Brother Pleddy's retired. But there's still action that each one of us begins to put into our lives. And I really believe that when it comes to our spiritual side, there's never a retirement mode of our spiritual life.
That's good.
We have to continue to have action in our lives. It's very, very important. Without action, you get nothing. Without action, you get nothing. You actually begin to die. You just want to just give up on life, you stop doing anything. You're going to do that way. Spiritually, you can just get to where you're just nothing. No action put into it. Prayer stops. Church just becomes words. Song just becomes music. Life just becomes slow. And we see that in all of our men's lives. There's ebbs and tides of emotions that comes into it. Many people, we've worked very hard to get something, to attain something. And then life brings us what? Difficulties, mountains, things that comes at us, and we kind of just give up. We've seen men that just crash and just, what happened to them? Where are they? Nothing. Just their family begins to fall apart, their kids, the relationship with their wife. Life just begins to get very difficult because the action that needs to be put into it doesn't. Why does that happen? A lot of times it's when we come up against action, it's work, but then there's difficulties that come up to us. One of the stuff is fear. talked about at the table. I mean, fear grips us of the unknown, what's there. Maybe the pain. We talked about pain at the table and exercise and those things. And when fear and pain, resentment, being knocked down, character, people's attacking your character, we have a sense of just wanting to back away from that and rather to put action in to continue on, we begin to back away from it and move away. But that's very dangerous and harmful in our life if we don't just push through it, if we don't just keep going through it, because it can just be a spiral down into death. Spiritually, we do the same thing. God, I prayed for this, and I needed this, but something just didn't work out the way we thought. And, I prayed for my family, and the family just didn't work out. And, it's just, we put ourselves in situations to where it's very difficult. So we stop being active. Proverbs deals a lot in this area. I encourage you just to do some research in this stuff. And there's so many scriptures that okay, let me take a few of them here. Proverbs 26:13. The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way. A lion is in the streets. Fearful. Hey, there's a lion there. There's something there. I ain't going out there and fighting that. Instinct sometimes you can just, man of action, you're going to build something, you're going to step right out there, take care of the situation and go. And maybe afterwards you're going to say, wow, where'd that come from? But a slothful man said, there's a lion in the way. I'm not going there. Fear. Men of action is going to go out and conquer. You look at superheroes, they're always conquering. Day in and day out. Proverbs 20 and 24, talking about the sluggard. Okay? Now we're to the point where we're down low, we're not doing anything. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. It's just too cold. I'm not going to go out there and work. Forget it. Therefore, it continues on to say, shall he beg in the harvest and have nothing. Not going to plant when it's cold, so you're going to beg later. We live in a society right now that is so much of entitlement. It's so much in, I deserve. You owe me. Not in the point of, what did you plant? What effort did you put? Well, I put so much effort and stuff, and I'm entitled to all these things because I put little taxes away. Ultimately, it is your responsibility to take care of yourself. Amen. Oh, I got a sugar mama. Oh, I got this. She's going to work for me, and I got this and that. No, we have to pick ourselves up and be a man of action. Come on, man. Okay? Spiritually, it's the